Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys are all doing well. And today, my friends, we're back with a showdown between Ark in the Black and Morker the Shadowgave. It's going to be Tomb Kings vs. Beastmen facing off against King of the Dead with his own faction. Something quickly kind of clicked in my head when I was in the building screen. I was like, wait a second. The Beastmen do not have access to the Lore of Fire. Therefore, let's just go with a big heavy metal army of Tomb Guard. Because Tomb Guard, if you look at their stats, really aren't bad. The big issue is that, spells like Burning Head can just eviscerate those front lines very quickly. So I was like, all right, let's go for it. So we got double Tomb Guard backed up by the Kepra Guard. On the flanks, we're going to be coming in with the triple Tomb Guard Halberd as well. So really just trying to prepare for the mass of the Beastmen, like Minotaurs, Chaos Spawn, Chariots, things like that. They're not going to have the best time in the world against Tomb Guard Halberds, who are backed up by a little bit of mass via the Nehekar Horsemen. So that's it. We do also have the King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion. Ark in the Black is going to be on foot, making him a little bit of a tougher target. I know that Beastmen most likely in this matchup will bring a Gorgon. Maybe you're going to see Torox, other characters like that. So if he's on foot, the Gorgon isn't going to be that effective at killing him. He'll get knocked over. The anti-large bonus won't come into play. And since my build is very static and stationary, I'm like, that shouldn't be that much of a problem. We have one Skeleton Archer, just to give us a little bit of extra DACA, Chosen of the Gods as well to range the Beastmen from downtown. And aside from that, Carrion as well as one Horseman unit. That is it. And the Titan. Titan, I think, is quite good here. He does fire damage, and the Beastmen do have some regeneration, like Morker. Granted, Morker does have magic resist, which is a little bit annoying. But the Gorgon is not actually weak to fire, is he? I know he has conditional regeneration. Let's go ahead and double check this. So, yeah, so his strength from flesh, he's actually not weak to fire damage. So, I actually thought he might be when I was loading into the game, but I quickly realized after talking to the King of the Dead. But, yeah, Morker is, and, the Titan is an imposing monster. That bad boy can do some work. So, the Walmart Tomb Kings march to war against the new and improved Beastmen. Let's see how they can hold up here. The Tomb Guard forming ranks as the mighty Cygor in the backfield, dropping some serious damage, getting my archers down a little bit, even hit Ark in the Black. But I do respond in kind with a little bit of Ushapti Grape of Fire. Also do get the Carrion back there to go after the Cygor. And we will be using Spirit Leeches and Shem's Burning Gazes and other effects like that really to do some work. So in the front line, the Kepra Guard will be charging into the Destroyers of Drakwold. Should make very, very quick work of these guys, as the mighty Titan in the distance does also drop the Shem's Burning Gaze downtown on the monsters of the Beast people. And the charge is underway. Tomb Guard engaging in the front line against the Ungors, but now the heavy hitters are coming in. And Spawn will be able to cut through Tomb Guard at a decent rate. So seeing that King is committing all of his resources here to the front line, I do use the Liber Mortis to get the physical resist, and also use my Skeleton Warrior Summon on top of the Beastmen to tar pit them and tank the leadership of the actual infantry fighting. A nice Spawn summon by King of the Dead gets it right on top of my Chosen of the Gods and Archers, so a little 2-for-1 shutdown there. A little bit unfortunate. And now you can see the Razorgore herds are looking to engage on the flanks. So I do pull my Tomb Guard Halberds to kind of get in the way to intercept those Razorgore's wall, using my Carrion in the backfield to go in and try and shut down that Cygor from fighting. Nice little Brave Scream coming in there from the Wild Caster of the Beast people. And Ark of the Black fighting on foot pretty safely, able to bring down a couple Spawn units, but the Skeletons really doing an excellent job. And the Titan versus the Gorgon, quite the clash of Titans. I know, a little bit redundant there, but yeah, he's like, you know what, screw you, Gorgon. I'm going to club some of my fellow Skeletons because I'm a big angry Titan. Don't ask questions. So the fight is underway. The Gorgon actually taking quite a bit of work. The Iron Titan, despite being devolved here, is still pretty powerful in combat, and that will be wearing off in a second. On top of that, Ark in the Black is piled in, and he's got his Pimp Cane with 450 weapon strength, and actually it's pretty hard against the Gorgon, which does have very, very light armor. Now, as far as the infantry fight goes, I think the Tomb Guard are excellent right now. I think they're doing a very good job, and it just goes to show that if they had some sort of a defense against, the mechanics I talked about earlier, they'd be a much better unit in general. I mean, they're holding back several units, Spawn and infantry at once, and giving quite a bit of damage back to them. In the meantime, Nehekar Horsemen on the flanks are going after Razorgores, just serving as a little bit of a periphery support unit, and they're doing a really good job. However, my poor Chosen of the Gods have been trapped in combat. I keep trying to get away, but the Spawn are really pressing on them, so I'm like, okay, let's hold in place, get the Halberds in position, pull the Titan back, and now the Gorgon has overextended a little bit. So the Titan should be able to get some hurt here on this guy. Titan has 550 against the Gorgon's 520. However, the Gorgon does have the advantage of anti-large. I think in a pure vacuum fight, the Gorgon might win just because of the bonus and the healing, but it's hard to say. The Titan does have a bigger HP pool as well. I think the Titan has a lot more HP. So with Spirit Leeches and Shem's Burning Gaze kind of put into play as well, that'd be interesting. And maybe the fact that the Titan is unbreakable would help. In the backfield, the Ushapti summon has gone down here, going on the Gorgon, or excuse me, the Cygor, and doing a very good job, just kind of pinning that bad boy in place and really getting me some decent value there, while the mighty Horsemen do chase down the Razorgore herds, and the Titan continues to fight here in the pits against Morker, the Shadowgave, and the Spawn. So the last wave of my Halberds is sent forward. Ark in the Black running forward with his staff, going to be trying to stop the Destroyers of Drakwold from getting onto the Ushapti. But King with some pretty nice pressure here. forcing into the back line and, you know, applying poison to these guys. Granted, poison isn't what it used to be. The nerf's, of course, very, very strong. And trying to pull the Titan back. I wanted to try and get the Gorgon to overextend into the halberds because Morker was coming. I saw his other caster back here. I was like, okay, I need to get back a little bit. But Spirit Leech coming down from Ark in the Black. Going to keep dropping that here in the backfield. The Ushopti summon. Still wearing down the Cygor, getting it very low, but the summon is going to be wearing off soon. So a little bit scary. If that thing is still alive after all is said and done, and it starts throwing boulders into my very expensive infantry, that could be problematic. And man, oh man, in the front line, the Kepler Guard have just been aces. They've been cutting through so many units. They've killed 2 or 3 infantry units, also getting into these spawns here. If you look at the Kepler Guard's actual value accrued so far, 1,600. So absolute MVPs as they continue to generate value into the later stages of the game. So Ark in the Black goes over here. Shem's Burning Gaze coming in from the Titan you guys just saw. And the Mighty Gorgon will fall for Ark in the Black as he raises his sword in triumph. That was actually pretty cool, right? As he slayed it, he like raised his sword in victory. Now he's going to be running back across as the Titan does pull back. Morker the Shadow gave a little bit trapped up in Tomb King's infantry here, but of course Morker is as tanky as he ever was. He's got regeneration, very, very tough to kill. And I was like, you know what? Why am I running from him? I looked, I'm like, I still have 3,000 HP. Arkin plus, you know, the Titan here, despite the magic resist that Morker has, should be able to drag him down quite happily. Unfortunately, the Cygor is back and it's throwing boulders into my expensive infantry here, the King Nikesha Scorpion Legion, but a lot of Tomb Guard. I mean, Tomb Guard are very durable units. We do have 70 right here, 55 right here, 24 Kepler Guard in the backfield, you know, still, or in the front, I should say, not in the backfield, fighting pretty well. And, you know, the Ushopti Greatbow are also back online. So many of the spawn units that have survived the long, grindy battle here against the very elite Tomb King's infantry are now starting to take some steady focus fire from the archers back here. So here comes Ark in the Black, trying to surround Morker the Shadow Gave. Old Pimp Claw trying his best to get some damage in there, but the Titan does wait after him, dropping the big cane. The laser eyes, I'm sure, will follow soon. Just trying to rally my halberds to intercept the threats of the Razorgore herds as well as the Ungor Spearmen. And Morker is getting dangerously close to army losses. I mean, it's looking pretty grim here for the forces of the Beastmen. And Beastmen usually are very heavily falsely inflated on the balance of power. So what you're seeing now is probably actually 10% worse than it actually is. There's some weird thing about a lot of Beastmen characters, specifically Morker, and I think also the Razorgore Chariot characters, or the Tuskgore Chariot characters that are obviously very busted. Of course, King and I, before this game, you know, made an agreement not to use those, if you're wondering why he didn't bring them or whatnot. But yeah, because they're just objectively broken. It's just very unfair. So the Titan is pulling back, and Morker the Shadow gave, you know, hunting it. Very aggressive, this cow. You know, he's perhaps got the mad cow disease as he does charge in there and go after the Titan. The Titan not going to be taking a shit. Morker's magic resist, what is it actually? It is 25%, so it's not that bad. I mean, basically, the magic damage of the Titan and the benefit of the fire damage are just going to kind of cancel each other out there as the Shadow Gave is shaken and stirred. A couple of the spawn moving in, but the Chosen of the Gods continuing to rip shots. They've had a pretty tough game, getting summons dropped on them and many other scary things, but in the end, they hold firm and still have 4 models, really generating quite a bit of damage here in the 4th quarter of the game. Ark in the Black coming in with his old Pimp Cane once again, going after the caster. I drop a summon on top of it to trap it in place. And Arkin with the KO, man, he got a lot of value this game, and I really did like Foot Arkin. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that one as much as I did. It's always nice to see a faction that is considered to be pretty darn, you know, one of the lower tier factions with lower win rates perform exceptionally well against the Beastmen, who are a new and very strong faction. But, you know, I think that's kind of the thing about Tomb Kings. They're not like bad in every single matchup. I think they can be decent. And like, honestly, I feel like against Beastmen, even with their new stuff, they can be formidable and hold their own. It's just, I really do think it's a fact, like factions that have access to magic that is really punishing against Tomb Kings, that force you to bring shitty infantry, that changes things. Because Tomb Guard, I think, are quite cost effective. I mean, 1900 here, 700 here, 700 here. It's mainly their light armor. And the fact that they're an undead faction that don't have access to healing, that kind of becomes a little bit tricky. Like, Burning Heads are good against Coast and Vampire counts, but they have access to healing and you know, more chaff units and summons and things like that that really kind of counter that a little bit, or at least equal it out. But Tomb Kings are in a unique position that they don't have that. So Halberds did fine, 1,000 value there, 800 here. These ones are still very healthy. Ushopti were able to survive the storm. And yeah, I actually like this army quite a bit. I thought it was cool. I mean, Pendulum can still be very good too. Pendulum would have been devastating here, but thankfully King went with a different lore of magic, and I didn't have to suffer through that. But yeah, the spawn did all right, and of course the Mighty Gorgon was probably the one that struggled quite a bit here. Here you can see the Cygor, despite being tied down and focus, did great, but the Gorgon had trouble really getting its value, probably because of the amount of halberds and cheap supporting units I had to really just kind of tie it down and poke it progressively. Also, Arkin plus the Titan ganging up on it, I think was pretty cool. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one, and hopefully you guys did as well. So while played a King of the Dead, we played a batch of 4 games today. They'll all be going up on the channel over the course of the next couple weeks. You guys will see those in action. And my friends, that is it for now. And Ark in the Black is cackling all the way to the bank. And we'll see you guys next time. Take care of yourselves.